to the Dragons, episode 4, King of the Narrow Sea. So here we are, we're back into it. This episode's a really big builder in terms of all the political stuff that is going on. So there is a little bit of a time skip, so we get to see, obviously, Rhaenyra. She's really delving into her, new found sort of lease on life. She's still struggling in terms of being accepted for who she is. But our big main focus is the relationship between her and Daemon. So Daemon has been named the King of Dragonstone and also of the Narrow Sea. And he's been knighted or crowned by the Sea Snake. And he's really sort of been doing a lot of things in the background. And we get to see, obviously, Daemon come in and he's wearing his own crown. So we do get to see that brotherly rivalry that has been really building. The king is obviously looking real fragile, and you can see he's missing fingers, and you can see that really sitting on the throne is really having a massive impact on him, and he's just really struggling. Where Daemon walking in is a really tense scene. They've done really well in terms of allowing that tension to build and that rivalry to really fester. And Daemon, you can see he's building to some massive manipulation that we don't quite know where exactly it's going. But he ends up taking his crown, giving it to his brother, and saying there's only one true king. So we get to see him being the little manipulator that he is, and he just absolutely steals the show. He's such a good character, and he's just so well acted. Matt Smith has done absolutely incredible with this character. He is by far the most memorable character I've seen this year, and it's just really fantastic. And to see the relationship between Rhaenyra and also Daemon, I've always had that sort of strange chemistry in terms of the incest, and I was like, all right, when are we going to get it? Because we sort of knew that it was coming, and it does come in this episode. Obviously, they set up with the first reveal in episode 1 where he gives her the necklace. There was that weird sort of tension and chemistry that they were building towards, which is not something that they shy away from in Game of Thrones, and they don't do so here. The Targaryens are known for their sort of bloodline, I guess, purity in terms of them keeping it really close in house, and that's where we go. And you can see Daemon's manipulation when he's sort of taken her out into the town and really told her about this is what it is to be a queen. You take what you want. Where I'm not entirely sure in terms of Daemon's motives. Is it just coming back and sort of getting with his niece in terms of to mess with his brother, or was it really the chemistry and he wanted that bond and that sort of lust for his niece, or was it just to really further his motive in terms of where he's standing? Because we do get to see Daemon obviously put the idea, get the idea forced from his brother when they have that confrontation in obviously the council room, where he wants to obviously get the hand of Rhaenyra and be able to take her as his bride. But obviously he's already got a bride, so he's trying to invoke the Targaryen second rule in terms of allowed to have another bride. And the tension between the two, I've said it before, but the tension is really good. And the leaps in time do allow this to further the plot. Normally it would simmer for a bit, where I think it's kind of a double-edged sword. At times there's plays that probably should have stayed and let it fester for a little bit and then get revealed in terms of what the conflict is, but they don't have that time schedule. They can't extend those sort of plot lines out just due to how quickly the show is moving, where the big confrontations just all of a sudden flash up. And it's really nice in terms of the pacing. It's quick, but unfortunately some of those reveals and that suspense is kind of lost at times due to how quickly the show is moving. But that's what they've set up for, and they're consistent. So that's the main thing. The consistency is good, and we know what we're in for. But obviously, Rhaenyra, she is able to really delve into that sort of, I guess she's going through a bit of coming of age. She gets to learn about what the human body, and it really gets to delve into those different things, where obviously after her experience with Daemon, she then obviously is after and really taking or delving into the message that obviously Daemon is leaving her in terms of taking what she wants, where she actually gets with her Night Guard that she's elevated from a standing. And that's really interesting in terms of how the dynamic power shift sort of happened. Like in the first scene with Damon, the power shift was definitely with him in terms of where that power dynamic was. And in this one, she obviously has the power in that. And it was interesting to see the two scenes, like obviously almost back to back in terms of how they showed them, and just how interesting and how easily they were able to show the power dynamic there. In terms of the power dynamics, there are a number of things that are going on as well. And I really like how they're showing the power struggles in terms of Rhaenyra's friend, is going higher up. Like obviously there is that really tension between the two, just due to the standings and Ray wanting to obviously be queen and her struggling with the emotional toil of like not being accepted and being the heir, etc. But like there's so many different things. Like Otto, you can actually finally gets caught out in terms of the manipulation man that he is. I know I'm sort of recapping a little bit, but the scenes in terms of the character bonds are probably by far the best in this sort of series, where Otto and Damon, I love the look when Damon actually kneels down and gives him the crown and looks to Otto, and you can see Otto's a little bit taken aback. He wasn't expecting this to happen. Where those back and forths, I like how it's sort of in-house in terms of there's less characters that they're jumping to and fro in terms of where they're going, which allows those characters to have those real big bonds, where in Game of Thrones you were jumping every like 10 minutes to a different character in a different area. Like it was just a little bit too vast to be able to really delve into those character arcs and those character developments between each other. So I did really like the episode. It's just I was waiting for the massive time skip to see the new characters, but reading it's like meant to happen between episodes 5 and 6. So that's where the jump is. So we still got one more episode with the kid actors, and then we're moving on into obviously our new adults in terms of we're jumping like 10 or so years, which makes sense. I just really sort of established those characters with the actor, which is going to be a little bit of a shake up to the system, but I guess we'll see how they go. So yeah, this was a good episode. There wasn't much action, like there was a dragon at the start, but just due to the grand scale, how everyone's got a dragon, I like how they're like really struggling in terms of pushing people into war, because obviously a dragon is just going to absolutely terrorize it. Whether they win, they lose, or they draw, like there's just going to be so many casualties where they try and avoid that. So everything around them is that political sort of espionage that is going on. Even the marriages, like you can see the king and the Hightower girl, like there's pretty much a loveless marriage in that. And you can see, I really like the scene where the king finally confronts Otto in terms of how that scene, how he plants his daughter in there. And it's really interesting how he lost the hand and etc. But like, for me, it's a good episode. It's probably a 3.5, probably a 4, really. It's just, I was expecting a little bit more in terms of pushing the plot, but it was more of a builder episode in terms of building those connections and allowing different things that were sort of building towards did happen in the episode. So yeah, I'll take that back. It is a 4. Like, it was a great episode and we're still moving forward. So I'm excited to see where it goes. And we're going to talk about it on the podcast as well. So check out Movie Talks. We're on Spotify. It'll be a vodcast on the channel. I'm live on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday, 7:45 Australian Central Standard Time. And you know what to do. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you tell your friends.